Now I'm going to do lesson 126. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. This is where we begin to recognize that giving and receiving are one, that there is only one Son of God, one daughter of God. God has only created oneness, so there can only be one of us. So whatever you're giving out there is coming right back to you. Paragraph 1. Today's idea, completely alien to the ego and the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought reversal that this course will bring about. This idea that everything is given to ourselves is absolutely important that we receive it as the truth. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to undo our ego. Sentence number 2. If you believe this statement, actually it says if you believed this statement, there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. Because if you realize that everything is given to you, that there would be forgiveness is about you, everything is a return to you, this one idea would change everything for us. Sentence number 3. You would understand the means by which salvation comes to you and would not hesitate to use it now. Why? Because we're only saving ourselves. We think we're saving other people. We think we're forgiving others for what they did to us. But at the end of the day, all of that is a process that is bringing us back to knowing that it is all coming from here. Why? Because we are projecting the world that we see. Paragraph 2. Let us consider what you do believe in place of this idea. It seems to you that other people are apart from you and able to behave in ways which have no bearing on your thoughts nor yours on theirs. Therefore, your attitudes have no effects on them, and their appeals for help are not in any way related to your own. Sentence number 4. You further think that they can sin without affecting your perception of yourself, while you can judge their sin and yet remain apart from condemnation and at peace. We really think that we're totally separate from one another. Paragraph 3. When you forgive a sin, there is no gain to you directly. You give charity to one unworthy merely to point out that you are better or on a higher plane than he whom you forgive. So this is the way the ego operates. I'm going to forgive you because I'm better than you. I'm just going to forgive and forget about it. Or I'm going to forgive and not forget about it. Again, it's that world of duality that there's somebody other than us. And we can either pardon them or be crucified by them based on whatever it is that we think in our mind. And that their thoughts about us have no bearing on us and our thoughts about them have no bearing on them. So sentence number 3 says, he has not earned your charitable tolerance, which you bestow on one unworthy of the gift. Again, these are the people that we pardon through the forgiveness of the world, because his sins have lowered him beneath a true equality to you. He has no claim on your forgiveness. It holds out a gift to him, but hardly to yourself. Yep, I'm going to pardon you. No, it doesn't affect me. Paragraph 4. Thus is forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times, at other times withheld. I'll let you off the hook today, but not tomorrow. Unmerited, withholding it is just, nor is it fair that you should suffer when it is withheld. Yeah, I'm not going to feel guilty that I'm not forgiving you. The sin that you forgive is not your own. They did it. I never did that. Someone apart from you committed it. And if you then are gracious unto him by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin. So we assume that whatever they did is not my problem, and I'm giving them a gift, but it's, I'm letting them have the forgiveness, but it's not mine. There is absolutely no understanding that giving and receiving are one. There's no understanding that we're only giving to ourselves. There's no understanding of projections when we do it the way that the world has taught us to forgive. Paragraph 5. If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently an undeserved reprieve. Yet, it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the justified repayment for his sins. Haha, no way, they're going to have to pay. Paragraph 4, think you the Lord of heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this? Something so flimsy and whimsy? At our whims? Would not his care for you be small indeed if your salvation rested on a whim? Paragraph 6, you do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt attack. Without requiring correction in your mind, it cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. It has no power to restore your unity with Him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. Clearly, the world's forgiveness does not save or help anybody. Paragraph 7. Not having given him the gift he asks of you, you cannot recognize his gifts and think he has not given them to you. Yet, would he ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Could he be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of his Son? We're talking about Holy Spirit here. I mean, the Holy Spirit knows that forgiveness is a gift that we give ourselves. But in this way that we do it in the world, I'm going to pardon that terrible person over there. We're not recognizing that this gift is for ourselves, so the Holy Spirit can't work with us then. Sentence number 5. And true forgiveness, as the means by which it is attained, must heal the mind that gives. Forgiving is receiving. What remains as unreceived has not been given. But what has been given must have been received. So what remains unreceived, if you don't feel it here, you never gave it truly. If you say, I forgive you, but you don't feel forgiveness here for yourself and your heart clear, then you really didn't give it. If you gave forgiveness, then you must have received it. If you give true forgiveness, it has happened. It's clear, both of you, in that one act that you do true forgiveness. Paragraph 8. Today, we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help you need is there. The help, the capital H help, the Holy Spirit. Give Him your faith today and ask Him that He share your practicing in truth today. Holy Spirit, please be with me. Help me understand something that has been so alien and so foreign. Please set my mind straight so that I can let go of these judgments that I have made of others. Sentence 5. And if you only catch a tiny glimpse of the release that lies in the idea we practice for today, this is a day of glory for the world. Just a tiny little bit of acceptance of the truth is a day that saves everybody. Paragraph 9. Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand. Jesus is very deliberate with his words. He knows we are attempting to understand something that has been so foreign and difficult for us. Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand today's idea. It is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. It is the thought that will release your mind from every bar to what forgiveness means and let you realize its worth to you. Every bar, a prison bar, every person that we hold accountable is like a bar that imprisons us. It keeps us unsafe, fearful of the world, fearful of running into these people because they can hurt us. We've already forgave them, but they could hurt us again. Paragraph 10. In silence, close your eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness. In silence, close your eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness. We're going to go inside and seek sanctuary in the quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. When you shift your mind about what is false to the truth, false beliefs are laid by. You put them down. If you're holding something in your hand and you have your hand full with that and you need to pick something else up, you got to put that thing down before you can pick the other one. Same here. If we want to pick up the truth, forgiveness, and the peace that it brings, we got to put down what is not true forgiveness, what the anxiety, that suffering, that unforgiveness, forgiveness of the world brings. So we got to put down so we have free hands to pick up. Sentence number 2, repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. We got to get comfortable talking to the Holy Spirit. We're creating this conversation with our guide, with God, whatever you want to call it, it does not matter. But it's an internal conversation that is allowing us to begin to dialogue with that intuitive knowing that is inside of us. That voice for God, the voice for truth that is within. It's the voice of God inside. God is not out there. God being energy, it permeates every fiber of our being. We're tapping into that intelligence. Sentence number 3 in paragraph 10. Be willing to be taught. Be willing to not know everything so that you can move out of your idea of the world's forgiveness and begin to receive the forgiveness that heals. And more importantly, this thought that you're always giving to yourself, that there is only one of us here because there's only one energy present, always and forevermore. Sentence number 4, paragraph 10. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you. And you will understand the words he speaks and recognize he speaks your words to you. It's like we recognize when the Holy Spirit is talking to us, we're remembering that God is speaking to itself because we are one. Paragraph 11. As often as you can, remind yourself you have a goal today, an aim which makes this day of special value to yourself and all your brothers. Do not let your mind forget this goal for long, but tell yourself, all that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. All that I give is given to myself. The help that I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. I'm going to trust that this truth is in me right now. Then spend a quiet moment opening your eyes to his correction and his love, opening your mind to his correction and his love. And what you hear of him, you will believe, for what he gives will be received by you. When I began the process of forgiving my mother, forgiving my father, it was so foreign to me to really, truly let them off the hook and to know that it was an act that I was giving to myself. But as I did that, the love that I began to feel, the compassion for them, it's like I began to understand through that act of forgiveness and asking the Holy Spirit to please have this make sense to me, because it really didn't when I started. I began to realize that I was letting me off the hook from carrying the heaviness of a wall between me and them. I was carrying a separation between me and my mom and my dad and everybody else that I had to forgive. And this is why it is so important that we talk to the Holy Spirit and ask it to give us guidance, because our ego mind won't believe this. So we are making the decision to begin to believe something that we don't really believe. So we're asking the Holy Spirit to come in and talk to us. And we will feel a difference. We will feel a shift. And we may need to do it many times before we really get grounded in it, because we'll feel it, then we'll walk away and forget about it. So we forgive again, we feel it, we walk away, forget about it. I don't know how many times I did that. There were hundreds of times that I had to do forgiveness on the same people in the beginning of my journey. Later on, I didn't need to do forgiveness that many times because I already believed the truth that was true always. I just forgave myself when I began to think thoughts that were not true. So if I did a forgiveness on Ken, and then I began to think, oh, I can't believe he did that to me, then I forgave myself. Whoa, I already did forgiveness once, and that's all it took. One time, I'm done. But the thought of judgment would come in, and I would forgive that. So I was forgiving myself, no longer forgiving others. I don't forgive anybody anymore because there is nobody out there. There is me projecting everybody out there. So the forgiveness is strictly done here. And it's a beautiful thing because forgiveness, God doesn't need to forgive us. We never did anything wrong, but we're preparing our hearts to purify our mind and be in a place where our mind is pure, our heart is now open And that way we begin to feel God more regularly, because it's the thoughts in our mind that keep us from feeling what can only be felt through the heart. But we have to open our heart. We have to purify our mind, purify the gate, open up the space to let love in, to let God in. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks.